Hello, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to be doing a video on TV friendships I cannot get behind. As in, most of these did not start off as friends. They were, maybe enemies or something else, but they weren't friends. There is one that did start off as friends. I think it's the only one that's like that. But I'll get into that later. These are just friendships that I can't get behind because one of them wronged the other and never truly apologized or even cared, and then somehow down the line they're friends, and it's never addressed that one of them actually hurt the other one more than once, several times, and it's like they're just supposed to be okay with it. Well, maybe they are. I'm not. I feel like said character deserves better in most of these cases because most of these cases. I'm going to get into the list now because I have several that I want to talk about. So first I'm actually going to do, first I'm going to give a good example of a friendship that I surprisingly ended up liking by the end because the character that did the wrongdoing actually finally apologized and meant it. So I want to give a good example of people who hated each other becoming friends, which is Belle and Hook on Once Upon a Time. Belle's my favorite character. Hook, I never cared for. I didn't like him at first. By the end, I tolerated him. I still don't love him. I do not ship Emma and Hook. He's just I don't get to hit big high folk with him. I don't. But I will say that he won my respect in season 6. Because, first of all, I feel like Belle was wronged a lot in a lot of different ways by a lot of different people. I think she was wronged by that entire town because there's one scene that will forever make me angry, and that's the scene that Rumple sacrifices herself in front of everyone. Belle is a blubbering mess on the ground. No one so much as asks if she's okay. Regina looks a little upset, so let's ask her if she's okay. Yeah, I'm never gonna buy that. They all crap. The only person that gets it out is Neil because he just lost his father. So, no. He did not owe anyone anything, but everyone else could have at least so much as asked if she was okay. I did not mean to go on that little rant, but that scene always makes me angry. Will always make me angry. But moving on, Belle and Hook. Because, like I said, I just feel like Belle's been wronged by a lot of different people. The three people that probably hurt her most throughout the run of the show would be obviously Rumple, despite the fact that she did love him, Regina, which they will be on this list, and Hook. First of all, you find out that they actually met once before Storybook when he was going to so-called rescue her from the tower so that she could help him defeat Rumple, thinking that she would know what his weakness is from living with him, but then she said that she cared about him, didn't want him to get hurt, so he ended up hitting her across the face, knocking her out. And then later on, they meet again in Storybook where Belle recognizes him, and he attacks her in the library, terrifying her. He holds a gun to her head on his ship. He shoots her, not only nearly killing her, but making her cross the town line so that she forgets her memories, making her go through so many traumatic events because she didn't know who she was, who they all were. She was freaking out the rest of that season. And then in season 4, I think it was season 4, yeah, Emma makes a comment about the two of them working together. And, actually, no, that would have been season 3 still. Because I think it was it was season 3, because it was the scene when she realized that Rumple was alive because of the whole thing. Okay, but anyways, and Belle's like, you realize that he tried to kill me, and he was like, sorry, and I'm like, that was not an apology, like he did not care back then. But jump forward to season 6. He offers to help her because she's hiding out from Rumple with their unborn child. She doesn't want him to find her and hurt her and her unborn child. So he ends up suggesting she can go to his ship where he can put a spell and keep her safe there. And then when he does, she asks him why he's helping her, and she says that only thing I have grievance with this is the fact that when he brings up what he did, he only brings up the fact that he slapped her at the Queen's Castle. I wish he brought up the other crap he did to her. That's my only grievance, because as I was talking, I realized that that was really the only thing he apologized for. But he was sincere, and he was trying to apologize and make amends. And she was like, I know, I forgave you for that for a long time ago. And he was like, yeah, well, I haven't. Proving that even though she forgave him, he hadn't forgiven himself, proving that he was actually a good guy. Because a lot of these people on this list do not do that. Like, even if that person has forgiven them, even though they shouldn't have, they do not care that much. Anyways, so I just wanted to share that because I thought that was a good example of, one doing character A doing character B wrong, but then character A actually making amends for it, apologizing, and earning character B's forgiveness. I'm also going to mention, since we're already talking about Once Upon a Time, Belle and Regina. So Regina does end up apologizing to Belle, and this would have been actually, I think, season 2, because Regina comes to the shop, or I'm wrong, it was season 3, because it was, season 2, Regina was still not that great a person, and season 3, she needed help with the whole Wicked Witch stuff, and she went to the shop, and Belle was there because Rumple was dead at this point, or so, supposedly. Okay, and, she comes to the shop needing Belle's help, and she's like, I love this scene, actually. I've used it for a few different Belle edits, actually. And she says, why on earth or any realm would I help you? You who imprisoned me in a tower locked me in an asylum for 28 years. There's done nothing but physically and mentally torture me. And what did she say after that? She was like, but anyways, you get the gist. And she was like, wow, Bookworm's got teeth. And then Belle's like, get out. And Regina said, and then that's when Regina apologized. But I don't know, the apology falls flat to me because technically she was mean to Belle at first. Expected Belle's to help after everything she put her through. But she put her through a lot of hell, all because she wanted to hurt Rumple. Not cool, okay? And the apology just doesn't feel sincere. I know she was like, I truly am. And then Belle helped. But I don't know. The fact that it felt like she was forced to apologize to get Belle to help her doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't feel like a real apology, and I don't think Regina ever truly, sincerely apologized to Belle in the way Belle deserves. So I wanted to throw that out there. So I have, so the next one I have, I'm bringing them up because they're the one I told you that was technically friends at the start of the story, Caroline and Elena. So this was actually a last minute adjustment, like right before I started filming, because this is a video I actually started planning a long time ago. I'm just finally filming it now, and I literally just added them because I was adding a couple characters on here since I wanted to finally film this. I was like, okay, who else can I add this to make this a few extra, because it was actually kind of short. So I added a few more, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to add them because I know there's a fight over who wronged who, and don't get me wrong, they both were wrong in some different areas, but what gets me is that, yes, Caroline hooked up with Klaus, who hurt Elena in a lot of ways. But Caroline felt guilty about it. Caroline felt guilty and fought her attraction to Klaus for the longest time. And then after she slept with Klaus, felt so guilty because of everything he's done and all the people he hurts, including Elena. And did Elena once feel guilty over being with Damon, and then everyone makes Caroline the bad guy for not liking the two of them? I'm sorry, I wouldn't want my best friend to be dating my rapist either, or my boyfriend abuser, which he was. Even if you don't believe he raped her, which I don't care who says what, he did in my opinion, and I don't even think that's a debate in my opinion, but apparently that is a debate on whether he did or didn't. But I say he did, and this is my channel, so we're going with that. But he then, but even if you want to say for a minute that he didn't, he still, what he did to Caroline in season 1 was not okay, and it was never truly properly addressed. And then Caroline's made out to be the bad guy because she doesn't want her best friend dating the man that, I don't know, abused her? I'm sorry, but she was not the crazy one. I would have been in a Caroline's shoes. I don't think my friendship, if my friend did that, I would have ever survived my friendship with her. I would have cut her out. I've cut out friends for less. Well, I don't want to say that. It sounds like I just cut off. No, they have to wrong me, but I've never had a friend date my abuser. Not that I have an abuser, but you get my point. So I don't think I could tolerate that because there's a, like, I don't know. That just, bugs me. Caroline, I know has done some wrong things, but I'm sorry, Elena's in the wrong in that whole scenario. So, moving on. Gabriella and Sharpay from High School Musical. I do not like Sharpay. I have issues with Sharpay. She always pretends to be good in the end because she got humbled, and then she goes back to being her awful, horrible self. And she'll be nice to Gabriella at the very end of every movie, but the next movie just treat her like crap when she has done nothing but try to be nice to her. Gabriella deserves better. Sharpay does not deserve Gabriella. I also have Toralei from Monster High, and I just mean with everyone, because I know there was some sort of, I don't know, that last movie in G1, which was, I love Laguna. She's very underrated, and I love her. She's probably the most underrated character in the main group. And I was so happy she got a movie, but I wouldn't say it was the worst movie just because I really hate that New Cool at School. But it was probably the second worst movie in G1, not including G2 because that obviously takes the cake, but in G1. And everything she does, not just in that movie, but in every movie. And then in the end of that movie, she's sort of, I don't know if she's friends with him now because that was the last movie of G1. But she's kind of just, I don't know, all tame now, and she kind of tried to make up for it with the whole speech. But I don't know, it just feels like she was always that mean girl, and it was different than Cleo, who actually cared about them. She was mean, but she cared. Toralei never did. And I'm sorry, but yeah, maybe she made it up to Laguna, but are we going to talk about what she did to Draculaura? First of all, we're going to talk about Price Camera Action first, because what she did was tame compared to what she did in a different movie. Price Camera Action, her and Gory relentlessly bullied Draculaura over a little joke among friends. They made a joke about her being queen of vampires, and they decided to act like she was this egotistical person, how dare you think you're gonna be queen? You think you're all that? She was having a joke with friends. She never once thought she was queen. Let's be real. She has some insecurities and some low self-esteem sometimes. There's no way she thought for a second. She was having a joke with friends, and they decided to bully her relentlessly that entire movie. But then, where do Ghouls Fall in Love is where she contacts her Draculaura's ex, who she knew was going after Draculaura to hurt Draculaura and break up her Dracula plot. But what Valentine was doing was more than just was hearts games, Playboy things, whatever. He was legit trying to kill her. He was trying to steal her heart and make her forever sad, or whatever the heck was going on in that movie. And you're telling me, and she never so much as apologized. So if she did become friends with them at the gang in the end of the last movie of G1, I would not be okay with it. Even if she did make up to what she did to Laguna, the other person she hurt the most was Draculaura. She legit tried to get that girl killed. Was there so much as a sorry? I don't think so. There's my little rant. How many more rants will there be today? Who knows? I also have Raven and Apple on here from Ever After High, just because Apple was horrible to Raven the entire time, and she was always made herself look like the victim and Raven like the villain because she was like, I'm sorry that I don't want my friends to disappear. No, that's not why. You don't care about what anyone else wants, Apple. You care about what you want. Briar so much as said that. That's her best friend. She was like, you don't care about anyone else as long as you can have your happily ever after, because her happily ever after was good. But if she had someone else's happily ever after, she may not like it so much. Like Briar's, especially like Raven's, or Lizzie's, or so many other characters who do not have a good happily ever after, who do not get a happily ever after. And yes, she always makes it seem like she's the victim, and then her and Raven are friends. I don't buy it. She never so much as did a true apology. No. I guess she did that thing in the season 5? Season 4? No, season 4, because the season 5 is the ice season. It's the last season. Season 4, where she did that whole thing where it's like, yeah, you can choose your own path, whatever. But that still was mostly to stop that would have been season 3. Okay, I'm lost on seasons, but to stop whatever they were facing. And she even said that she still hopes that Raven chooses to, try to poison her or whatever. And I don't know. I just can't get behind the friendship. Apple's a bad friend. Not just to Raven either, to Briar too. Let's be real. She's just a bad friend in general. She's a bad person. I don't like Owl. Now, Gwen and Courtney from, I lost the name of the show for a second, Total Drama. So, this is the first one, and I think the only one, where the character who did a lot of the wrongdoings is actually my favorite character. The one I prefer over the other one. Because Courtney, I do not like Courtney. And Courtney and Duncan, I don't think ever was going to last. I never liked them as a ship, even in Season 1. She was a control freak. She tried to change him in Season 3. Tried to make him do whatever. And it's like, no. Either be with him because you like him, or don't be with him at all and find somebody who's more your type. Because she was basically trying to just completely change him. And I do think that Duncan and Gwen should have, had him break up with her before they did anything. I still think Duncan's more responsible because I hate to blame the girl for what the guy did, or just say she broke up a home. No, he broke up a home. He's the one that cheated. She had no loyalty to you. It's different if you are a friend, sister. That makes it so much worse because there are stories like that. But a lot of times they don't know you. So no, yes, what they did was immoral. But no, they have no loyalty to you, and it's him you should be angry at. I will die on that hill. But Gwen and Courtney did, and then, I don't know, season, what was it, 5 All-Stars was just a bad season with writing. First of all, I actually love Gwen and Duncan as a couple. I feel like that's a very unpopular opinion. I absolutely love them. And they're actually one of my favorite ships. Top 3 for sure, I think. But they completely destroyed Gwen and Duncan's relationship and changed a lot of things. They made Duncan all of a sudden care about Courtney again, trying to make her jealous and stuff, but she did not care in the previous season, okay? And then all of a sudden they had Gwen say, "What I really missed was my friendship with you." And then Courtney was like, "I guess that's what I really missed too." I'm sorry, you guys got along for 5 minutes before Gwen and Duncan kissed. You guys were barely acquaintances, let alone friends. And then all of a sudden, they just wanted each other and it was never about the boy. I don't buy that either. I'm sorry, I don't. And so that was all just bad writing. But whether I like Courtney or not, she didn't deserve to be cheated on. Nobody deserves that. So Duncan definitely did wrong there. Even if he was unhappy with Courtney, he should have broke up with her before, going after Gwen or whatever. But yeah. And then I have, this one might ruffle some feathers. Jonathan and Steve from Stranger Things. So I'm not always the biggest fan of Steve. Jonathan, on the other hand, is one of my favorite characters. And I don't want to hear, but Jonathan took those pictures in Season 1. He grew. If you can't get past that, you can't get past what Steve did. Steve did a lot of bad things. It wasn't just Nancy. First of all, he humiliated her in front of the entire town, which is one of the lowest things you can do. I don't care. Even if Nancy did cheat on Steve, she wouldn't have deserved that. No one deserves humiliation. And then he was homophobic because he made a comment to Jonathan. Then he goes on and says he's not surprised what happens to his little brother because his family's a bunch of freaks. You're telling me you're going to make fun about the fact that a 12-year-old is missing? What? And I don't even think he had that great development because in Season 2 he was selfish with Nancy because she wanted to not pretend. But he was like, we have to. We need to do this. We need to do that. He was not listening to her. He was selfish to her. And then he wondered why she didn't love him. And then in Season 4, he was selfish because he told her that he wanted 6 kids with her when they were broken up for years. And Season 5, he was selfish because he was trying to go after another man's woman, and he didn't care what she wanted because we all know that Nancy would want everyone to follow the plan and not stray, and yet all he cared about was the competition and bringing her flowers to one-up Jonathan. I don't care what anyone says. That is what he was doing because Nancy doesn't want flowers. She wants to find Holly. She wants them to continue the plan. She even said to never stray from the plan, which Jonathan was doing because Jonathan listens because Jonathan loves her. That's however many rants for the day. Anyways, moving on. But I know that they didn't become friends in the finale because Jonathan still made a comment about not liking him, but they're kind of in the same friend group, and they kind of do end up sort of becoming friends, even though they try not to. But I still don't feel like Steve truly apologized to Jonathan for everything he's done. He thanked Jonathan for saving his life because all your Steve fans only have Steve because Jonathan now. Thank you very much, Jonathan. But yeah, so that's a friendship I'm on the rocks for, just because I think Jonathan deserves better. Now we're moving on to Rachel and Quinn and Rachel and Santana from Glee, because I know Rachel can be annoying. I know that she's not the best person. But one thing I will forever be mad about is the fact that the show never got into the fact that she was heavily cyberbullied at the beginning. It got into Kurt's bullying, and I think it should have gone more into Rachel's bullying, because she was bullied, and it just never is shown properly. Which irritates me. But she ended up doing nice things for both Quinn and Santana, and actually being a friend to them, when they never so much, and they never thanked her, they never so much as apologized for cyberbullying her and being awful to her for no good reason, which there's never a good reason for bullying, but it's ridiculous. And then all of a sudden they're supposed to be friends? Like, they become friends? No. Rachel deserves better than both of them. I know she's not the best person. She's still, and I'm saying this as someone who actually loves Santana. She is one of my favorite characters. Quinn, not so much. But Santana is. And I still think she deserves better than both of them. Okay. And then I have Caroline and Damon from the Vampire Diaries. Because why are they friends? He never apologized about what he did. He never cared about what he did. And I already got into some what he did because I end up mentioning Caroline and Lena, which wasn't originally planned. So I'm not gonna get too much into it. I'm just saying he didn't deserve her forgiveness. He didn't deserve her friendship. He didn't deserve her at all. Because he never so much as apologized. And even if it did, I doubt he would mean it, because he doesn't mean anything he does. I really hate Damon. And I just think Caroline deserved better. And I think he just wasn't good to her. And he didn't deserve her friendship or forgiveness. And then last one I have on this list is Simone and Mateo from Soy Luna. So Soy Luna has become one of my favorite shows. Simone is my favorite character. And he's such a sweetheart. And he gives the short end of the stick sometimes. And Mateo, I'm not a huge fan of. He gets on my nerves. And I just don't know how Simone and Mateo became friends in season 3. Simone was, oh my gosh. So yes, they were fighting with the same girl in season 1, but still, Simone never would have done truly anything to hurt Mateo, even if he wanted a Luna, because he's not a bad person. And then season 2, they were both, they were fighting over whatever. They both originally wanted Luna to be their duet partner, but then Simone was like, you should go sing with Mateo, he is your boyfriend. And he was cool with it. And then they both end up winning that whole record deal, whatever. And then the producer wants to put them together, make this huge rivalry, so had Mateo say some really hurtful things to Simone on live. Never forgave him. And then episodes later, when Luna's doubting her relationship, Simone's like, oh, Mateo's not a terrible guy. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Not a good friend. Well, maybe he's a good friend. I feel like he's a pretty decent friend to Gaston. But not to anyone else, to Gaston. He's not a good boyfriend to Luna. He's not a good person. He wasn't a good boyfriend to Amber. I know Amber wasn't necessarily a good girlfriend, but he still wasn't a good boyfriend. And I'm not a huge fan of Mateo. He gets on my nerves a lot. I know Luna wasn't always innocent in the relationship. Mostly, there's honestly mostly just one scene where she really irritates me in the relationship. But most of it was Mateo's doing, in my opinion. And then season 3, Simone and Mateo are all of a sudden friends. I'm sorry, where's my apology? I'm sorry, you embarrassed me live. You did this to me, you did that to me. You were horrible to me. And now Mateo deserves Simone's forgiveness and friendship and kindness? I don't think so. Simone's a good person, so he was like, okay, sure. But I don't think Mateo ever deserved it. And he never forgave him. He never apologized, so it just gets on my nerves because Simone is such a good person. I feel like he is short end of the stick a lot, and I feel like he wasn't always appreciated. And I love him, and I will defend him until, the earth dies. So, But thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment if there's any characters you think I left out that should be included. Maybe I could do a part 2 eventually if you guys would be interested in that. I'll chat with you guys below in the comments. Until next time.